We are live.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I call to order the Public Works and Utility Committee meeting. It is September 3rd, 2024, and it is 5 o'clock. If I could get a roll call, please.
Certainly, Madam Chair. Counselor Romero Worth,
Here.
Counselor Lee Garcia,
Here.
Counselor Michael Garcia,
Present.
Counselor Castro,
Presente.
Chair Chavez.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Next is approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes from staff?
We do, Madam Chair. Staff would like to remove item 7I from the agenda.
Right. And with that, can I get a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could all those in favor signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Next is approval of the consent agenda. I believe item E then with that agenda amendment is the only item removed from consent, right? Item E,
Correct, Madam Chair.
right? Could I get a motion from committee? I
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
have a motion and a second. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Currently, Madam Chair, Counselor Castro,
C.
Counselor Michael Garcia,
Yes.
Counselor Lee Garcia,
Yes.
Counselor Romero Worth,
Yes.
Chair Chavez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next is public comment. I do not see anyone in our audience today for public comment. We have no presentation or informational items, so our first item is going to be 7E, which was removed by Councilor Lee Garcia. Request for approval of a budget amendment resolution to reappropriate the remaining Affordable Housing Trust Fund budget in the amount of $1,944,692 into the FY25 budget, and Loretta Olguin, Business Operations Manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm actually, Johanna Nelson is on the Zoom. If Ben could get that on the screen so that we could see the staff member here for that.
Thank you, Ben.
Ben, it's actually Leon and Josh, sorry.
Hey, Johanna.
Hi there. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for being here to answer some questions. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Councilor Lee Garcia since he removed this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Joanna, for being here. Seems to be a short agenda tonight, and so I don't want to keep us here that long, and I appreciate you being here on Zoom. So just kind of clarification and on the bar, so this is remaining over from previous fiscal year?
Madam Chair, Counselor is correct. These are carryover projects from the previous fiscal year. Their contracts have in 12/31 of this calendar year.
Okay, so then the work that was supposed to be finished in the previous fiscal year wasn't finished, so they're continuing it on with this money.
Madam Chair, Counselors, there are, let me pull up our records. There are 4 projects that's contract ends 12/31/2024, and 1 contract ends 6/30/2025. So to confirm, these are not projects that didn't execute their performance within a set performance period. The contract actually ends 12/31/24. And we're moving the contract over until that affects this current fiscal year.
Thank you. And so that being said, I'm assuming none of the funding that was put into the trust fund for fiscal 25 is going to be used, obviously.
Madam Chair, Counselors, that's my understanding.
Okay. So just trying to follow the money trail, so to speak, and how, keeping track of this is kind of difficult. The different agencies that we are working with, can you just kind of give us a little rundown of what each, obviously Habitat for Humanity is like, I know they're building houses, Community Solutions and Bella Luz, those are the two probably highest funded ones. Can you kind of go through what each of those entities are providing to the community?
Sure, and I've got the project names of the organizations, and I'm happy to follow up with the exact projects that they're delivering. So you hit on Habitat for Humanity, that's 125,000, that ends 6/30/2025. Community Solutions is a contract of 969.5, that also ends in 12/31/24. Then we've got the Bella Luz project. That amount is 6/22. That ends in December of 2024. And then we have Consuelo's Place for 25,000. That ends 12/31/24. And then the next and final carry forward is Early Intervention, and that's for $190. And that is 12/31/24. And I'm happy to follow up and provide exactly what those deliverables are per those contracts.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. I kind of would be interested in seeing where we're at with some of these Community Solutions. Bella Luz are our highest funded at this point, and to see how they, you know, are we getting what we need out of them? That's really the bottom line on this. That was kind of I just mostly clarification and to ask those quick questions. And if you could find out, you know, even offline and send me some more info on each of these entities and, you know, what they're providing and how you can identify impact that they're having.
Madam Chair, counselors, happy to do so.
Thank you. Those were the questions I had.
Any other questions for Johanna? Counselor Merle Worth?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're all aware of how this money gets granted, and maybe Director, you could go through that process just briefly.
Madam Chair, counselors, thank you for the question. This goes through an application process that is publicized in several different ways out into the community. Organizations apply with information, budgetary information, a proposal about their project. Then it is internally reviewed. It also goes before the CDC, and they make recommendations on funding, and then that goes forward to committee review.
Right. So the Community Development Commission, the CDC, spends a day going through the applications and deciding funding, who gets funding and how much. And then those contracts all come to the governing body and are approved by the governing body. And they first travel through the standing committees of the governing body and are ultimately approved by the governing body before they are awarded.
Madam Chair, counselors, correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure everyone's aware how these contracts get awarded. There is a process. It's pretty extensive. It is competitive. And I believe, you know, the types of things that we're looking for are actually outlined in the ordinance as well. So the money is and some of these are all Affordable Housing Trust Fund dollars, but that Community Development Commission also makes grants with the CDBG money, which is the federal dollars that the city is awarded every year. So again, these are, but back to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, the ordinance itself outlines the types of things that the city is looking for from the providers in meeting the needs out there. Correct?
Madam Chair, counselors, you are correct. The eligible uses of funding are outlined specifically in that Affordable Housing Trust Fund Act and ordinance.
Okay. Thank you. I just think it's really important as we look and ask questions to make sure we understand the context of how these dollars are awarded. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Counselor. Michael Garcia?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Joanna, for being with us. This carryover funds, is this from the $3 million that was allocated in fiscal year 24? What is the original source of this funding?
Madam Chair, counselors, from my understanding, this is, these projects were awarded in the previous fiscal year and is not a part of the 3.8 in new projects that were recently approved.
Right.
And to clarify, within this current fiscal year.
Wait. Now.
Did
I'm
I
getting
confuse you?
Yeah, because we're in fiscal year 25 right now. And so my question is, so context, in fiscal year 24, we allocated $3 million through the general budget, not through unanticipated revenue or reserve funding, any of those one-time funding. It was in the budget. So my question is it part of that $3 million? Or if we want to dig even deeper, there are the revenues generated through the fee. And from my understanding in 2023, which this could have been part of that pot of funds, it was roughly $1 million. It was like 900 and some. So if you don't have the answer tonight, I know this, you're coming to Quality of Life tomorrow and we can get that. I just, as I've explained in the past, and Director Nelson, maybe we can connect offline in preparation of tomorrow night's meeting. Bless you. It would really be helpful for not only myself, but I think for the public to really understand how the money has been allocated, how it's been spent over these last, and we can just use a nice round number of 5 years. And the money that the city has put in through its budget, the money that's been generated through the fee, and then the money that's gone out the door for contracts such as this, because I don't know how we've spent the money. I see the contracts going out, but I don't know if they all tally, which in theory, at least through the last 3 years has been nearly $10 million allocated. Have we awarded $10 million in contracts? I don't know. And I'm trying to figure that out, in addition to, how have we allocated the revenue generated through the fee in lieu? How is that being tracked? How is it being spent? And so long story short, I'll work with you offline to prepare for tomorrow night's meeting, if that's okay.
Madam Chair, counselors, thank you for the question. As you know, from a previous committee meeting, we are working on getting you a report, and hopefully that'll help as well. And would love to chat and follow up so we can get some transparency and clarity around a complicated topic and provide some insight.
Okay. Thank you, Director Nelson. No other questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other questions for Director Nelson? For the record, Counselor Castro has recused herself from this item. Thank you, Director Nelson. I appreciate you being here.
Madam Chair, counselors, thank you very much. Apologies couldn't be there in person.
Thank you. No worries.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Excuse me. Counselor Romero Worth,
Yes.
Counselor Lee Garcia, Counselor Michael Garcia,
Yes.
Chair Chavez,
Yes.
and Counselor Castro has recused herself. Motion passes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, our next item are matters from staff. Director Wheeler, and are there any matters you'd like to share with us today?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any items.
Thank you, Director. Next are matters from the committee. Are there any matters from any of our committee members? All right, I see no matters. Next are matters from chair, which all I have is our next meeting is Monday, September 16th, 2024. And with that, we're adjourned. Thank you.